Today, I am so pleased to be talking about the new documentary, City of Gold, and I am here with the subject and the filmmaker that follows, Jonathan Gold, critic for the LA Times, and his quest to find kind of the best food in LA, and it's a love letter to LA. So tell me, I guess let's start with kind of where did the idea for this film come along?
The idea started, really way back when I moved to Los Angeles in the 90s. One of the ways I began to sort of see Los Angeles differently was reading Jonathan and, kind of exploring the places he wrote about, getting out of my comfort zone, driving to different neighborhoods. And I slowly began to see and experience the city differently.
Why was it the Critic the right lens to explore food, to explore Los Angeles and this culture?
I mean, I don't think it was the Critic, it was Jonathan
Yeah.
in specific.
Yeah.
It was really his kind of criticism, which is much more about place and culture and about broader sort of things and issues.
How was it for you to say, okay, let's sort of shine a light on this profession in a different realm than writing?
In the age of the internet, the idea of anonymity, which had always been fairly ridiculous to begin with. I mean, people know who the major restaurant critics are in their town. And there was a sense of gotcha to it that became a distraction, maybe. And I thought if anybody was going to do a job, it was probably going to be her. So I was reluctant, but we started filming. That was probably 2010. It just kept going until about 5 minutes before the cut was due for Sundance.
True.
And how did you feel in terms of, because this film showcases the kind of cuisine that you've really brought in your writing, which is sort of ethnic cuisine, the food that maybe doesn't get as much attention. How was it for you to say, okay, we're going to shine even more of a light on this to perhaps a different audience than who just read your column?
It's the food that I love, and it's a part of Los Angeles that I love. And if I have a goal other than being, in accurate, readable restaurant critic, it's bringing people to parts of town that don't ordinarily go to make them live in their entire city. So the more we know one another, the less we are likely to be afraid of our neighbors.
How is it for you to kind of show him, but also show kind of the food of LA? Because I think sometimes food in LA gets a bad rap, and this really kind of showcases, well, actually, LA is a place of immigrants, a place of all different types of food. So was that kind of the point, to show so much of the food of LA?
It was really told from Jonathan's point of view, even though there were interviews and that kind of thing, and we really wanted to be in that truck with him and experiencing the city with him, and I wanted people to feel like they're actually in the car, kind of driving, like having that experience with Jonathan, which is like what you feel. So much of your job is to shine a light on places, but a lot of your job is also to say when things aren't good, and the film doesn't explore that. Was that a conscious choice? I mean, obviously it was a conscious choice, but why not explore kind of the downside and the other side to criticism?
I don't see the point of wasting time on places that really aren't that good. I'd also like to expand on something you were talking about a little bit earlier.
Sorry.
Is that there's a lot of the film that, in fact, one of the 2 or 3 parts of the film is the idea of the immigrant success story. That Laura looking and doing small profiles of people who run restaurants that I've reviewed.
Right.
I don't experience that.
Right.
I don't experience that. I don't go back to restaurants once I've reviewed them usually that much, and there's always this firewall between the chef and the critic, as there should be.
That's such an interesting point.
The touching story between Gennett, who owns the
Ethiopian restaurant,
and her son. I didn't know that till I saw it in the film. But the woman, Bricia Lopez, who talks on camera, I'd seen first as an 11-year-old girl doing her math homework in a corner of the restaurant when I reviewed it. So some of this stuff is as new to me as it is to anyone else.
Are you hoping that people come away from this film and are excited about, either traveling to LA, or if they live in LA, eating more? I mean, what is the goal for you and for both of you with this film?
Well, I think to have a entertaining hour and a half, but I mean, other
which it definitely is. Yeah.
But other than that, people look at Los Angeles, and there are all kinds of things people think about it, right? It's a city that was literally designed to be any of 15 other places or 100 other places. It looks and it feels like LA to me.
In addition to that, I think you can take the mode of exploration that Jonathan uses, and you can apply that to whatever city you live in. So I think that's maybe one of the goals too of the movie.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time. The film is City of Gold. You can catch it now. Thank you so much.